Good morning, students. Now you are in the holiday mood. Due to this corona pandemic, it is not possible for us to conduct the classes in the school premises. Anyhow, to make the touch with the subjects, let us have this type of YouTube videos. Today, we are going to study about the solid state. Very simple part of the chemistry. So easy to learn. You just listen and you can feel how nice this lesson is. Okay, now let us move to this lesson, namely solid state. In this topic today, we are going to see only about the types of solids. First of all, let us see what are the characteristics of the solids. I hope all of you know about that solids. In our day-to-day life, we are seeing only that solids. You see here, I am having the rod in my hand. This is nothing but a solid. And you see here, it is the chalk piece. It is also a solid. And we have seen the water. Water is liquid and gas. Normally, it is not possible to visualize any gases. Now, in the solid state, let us see the characteristics of the solids. So, the solids are having the definite volume. You see here, this one contains the definite volume and has the shape, a linear shape. And due to the strong cohesive force, it is very strong. And these solids are so rigid, not so easy to break. And then it is not easy to compress, not so easy to compress. But you see, in the water, we can easily compress. In the air, we can easily compress. But solids, it is incompressible. And due to the very short interatomic distance, these are having very strong cohesive force. Their constituents are having fixed positions. For example, here, it is made up of the molecules. That molecules are fixed together. They can't move from one place to another. They are fixed. Whereas in the liquid, they can be moved. Whereas in the gaseous, you already studied, the gaseous molecules are moving here and there. So, let us once again see the characteristics of the solids. They are having definite volume, shape, and strong cohesive forces. They are rigid and incompressible. They are having very short interatomic, ionic, or molecular distances. Their constituents have fixed positions and can only oscillate about their mean positions. So, I hope you know the difference between that solid, liquid, and the gases. So, solids are so strong. Now, these solids are classified into two types, namely crystalline solids and amorphous solids. That crystalline solids example, you see that the chalk piece is an example for that crystalline solid, and you see that can. This is also the crystalline solid. They are having definite shape. If they are having the definite shape and occupying that volume, then they are known as crystalline solids. Whereas amorphous solids, all of you are using that face powder, the talcum powder, you are using a talcum powder. The talcum powder is amorphous. So, we are having two types of solids. They are crystalline solids and amorphous solids. Here we are going to study only about that crystalline solids. Now let us see that difference between the crystalline solids and amorphous solids. I hope all of you are able to visualize the tabular column. You see here, in the crystalline solid, we are having very long range, orderly arrangement of constituents. So here, the atoms or molecules are arranged in the long range. so that we are visualizing the solid. Whereas in the talcum powder, in the face powder, they are having very short range, random arrangement of constituents. And then the face powder are irregular in shape, whereas our solids are regular or they are having definite shape. The crystalline solids are anisotropic in nature, whereas amorphous solids are isotropic in nature, like liquids. What is meant by anisotropic? If the refractive index, that is that physical property, one of that physical properties, the physical properties are different in different sites. If the physical properties are different in different directions, then that is said to be anisotropic. It is possible only in the crystalline solids, whereas in the amorphous solids, these are isotropic. And then crystalline solids is known as the true solids, whereas the amorphous solids is known as super cooled liquids. And crystalline solids are having definite heat of fusion. They are having definite heat of fusion. And your amorphous solids are not having definite fusion temperature. And these are having, that crystalline solids are having sharp melting points, whereas that amorphous solids are having gradual soften over a range of temperature and so can be molded. For example, plastic and then glass. They are not having very particular melting point. You know that the melting point of ice is 0 degree Celsius. Only on the temperature that ice melts. Above the temperature and below the temperature at the normal pressure, we can't melting that ice. Whereas the plastic, glasses, they are not having the correct melting point. Example for crystalline solids, in our day-to-day life, we are eating that common salt, namely sodium chloride, diamond, all the metals, gold, and then metallic alloys, iron, and then brass. These are example for crystalline solids. And example for amorphous solids, rubber, plastics, glass, etc. So that is the difference between crystalline solids and amorphous solids. So the crystalline solid is alone known as the true solids. In this lesson, we are going to see only about that true solids. Now, how the true solids are classified? The true solids, namely the crystalline solids, are classified into 5 types, namely ionic crystals. Example, sodium chloride, potassium chloride, etc. Covalent crystals. Example, diamond, silica, etc. Molecular crystal. Example, naphthalene, anthracene, glucose, camphor. These are examples for the molecular crystals. Metallic crystals, all the metals, sodium, magnesium, copper, iron, gold, silver, these are examples for metallic crystals. And finally, atomic solids. Example, frozen elements of group 18, namely the helium, neon, argon, krypton, and xenon. Now, let us see that types of crystals in detail. Let us see that first one, namely ionic crystals. Ionic crystals, the lattice points are occupied by the positive and negative ions. Therefore, it is called as ionic crystals. Only the lattice points are occupied by the cations or anions. And the ionic crystals are hard and brittle. They are very hard and brittle. Example, our sodium chloride. You can see that sodium chloride, it is hard but brittle. They are having very high melting point. Why they are having the high melting point? Because the cations and anions are having very strong electrostatic force of attraction. Therefore, they are having a very high melting point. In the solid state, they are very poor conductors of electricity. They never conduct electricity in the solid state. But in molten state or in the water, that solution, they are the good conductors. Here, the ions are packed. Depends upon presence of charged species present and difference in the size of anions and cations. We are having 2 types of ionic crystals, namely AB type and AB2 type. These are about that ionic crystals. The best example for ionic crystal is sodium chloride or the potassium chloride. Now let us see that covalent crystals. In the covalent crystals, the lattice points are occupied by the neutral atoms. In the ionic crystals, already I told you only the ions. Covalent crystals, only the atoms. Whereas in the ionic crystals, the ions are held together by the strong electrostatic forces. Whereas here, the atoms are held together by the covalent bonds. These covalent crystals are hot solids. They are having very high melting point. The ionic crystals are having high melting point, whereas our covalent crystals are having a very high melting point. They are very poor conductors of electricity. Examples, common examples in our day-to-day life, we can see that graphite. And another one example, the costliest one, namely the diamond. These are poor thermal and electrical conductors. Ionic crystals are the good conductors in the molten state, whereas in the solid state, they are the very poor conductors. So, we have studied that ionic crystals, covalent crystals. Now let us pass on to the molecular crystals. If the lattice points are occupied by the molecules, neutral molecules, then they are said to be molecular crystals. Here, the molecules are held together by the van der Waals forces. The van der Waals force, already you know, very weak force. Therefore, these are very soft solids. Since it is very soft solid, these are having very low melting point. In addition to that, just like the previous two, these are also poor conductors of electricity. Now let us pass on to the next one, the molecular solids. The molecular solids further classified into non-polar molecular solids, polar molecular solids, and hydrogen bonded molecular solids. Non-polar molecular solids, polar molecular solids, and hydrogen bonded molecular solids. In the non-polar molecular solids, the molecules are held together by the very weak van der Waals London forces. So, they are having low melting points. Generally, they are liquids or gases. And example for the solids are naphthalene and anthracene. And camphor is also an example for the non-polar molecular solids. In the polar molecular solids, they are held together by dipole-dipole interaction. Example, carbon dioxide and solid ammonia. They are having high melting point because due to the dipole-dipole interaction, that attraction force is greater, so the melting point is greater. In the hydrogen bonded molecular solids, the molecules are held together by hydrogen bonds. They are very soft solid at room temperature. Example, glucose, urea, etc. And let us see that final one, metallic crystals. Here, the lattice points are occupied only by the positive metal ions, surrounded by a sea of electrons. In the ionic crystals, we have the positive ion and negative ions, whereas here only the positive ions, which is surrounded by the electrons. These are very soft to very hard. These are metals having very high tensile strength. The metals are good conductors of electricity. These metals are malleable and ductile. The bonding electrons in metals remain delocalized over the entire crystal. Namely, we are having that free electrons. That free electrons can move from one place to another. They are not localized. They are delocalized. Now, let us see that again, we have studied that types of solids. First of all, we have studied the characteristics of solids. They are having the definite volume and shape. Then we have studied the crystalline and amorphous solids, difference between that crystalline solids and then amorphous solids. That crystalline solids are anisotropic, amorphous solids are isotropic. Then classification, ionic crystals, covalent crystals, and molecular crystals. In that molecular crystals, we are having the three types: non-polar molecular solids, polar molecular solids, hydrogen bonded molecular solids, and finally, we have studied that the metallic crystals. So that's all about the part classification of solids. Thank you, students. Let us see in the another class. Thank you.